Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
What up, dog? Detroit, welcome to Wake Up Woodward.
Let's go!
Woo!
Oh, good morning.
Yeah, I'm pumped up. I know it hasn't been a good time for our teams lately, but you know what, man? Every time I'm able to grace this desk, man, you guys, it's a good morning, man.
Yeah, you know? And when we're covering all of the teams, there's something good in all of it.
Yes,
I know
sir.
there are a lot of L's on the scoreboard for Detroit sports. Hopefully a lot of W's coming up here in this next stretch. A lot of big games coming up. Opening day is, what did I say, 25 days away, 24 days away? It's creeping. It's creeping up.
Wait, and I know we're going to be there, man. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a blast. And you know, I told myself I wasn't planning on getting a workout this morning, but my electric toothbrush died, and man, my shoulders, I had to move to a manual toothbrush. Man, my shoulders are on fire. Fire. So I'm jacked up, and I'm ready to go.
Let's go.
Manual, let's go.
Chat family, I hope you guys are on fire as well as usual. You guys are such a big part of this show and a big part of our Wake Up Woodward family. We're glad that you're here. Hit that like button as you enter if you have. Continue to encourage other people throughout the show to do so. Let's try and get this show as big as we can get it today, man.
Yes.
It is a beautiful Wednesday.
It's busy.
It is.
It's busy. We got a lot of great stuff to talk about.
Tell the people about what we're going to be talking about.
I'll tell you what we're going to talk about. We're going to go around the city. We're going to talk headlines in this segment, too. I am very white. How about that?
Whoa, look at the bottom bar.
Yeah,
Look at the bottom bar.
This,
Wake Up Woodward, bottom bar. My fault, bro. That's my first time seeing that.
JB's cooking. That's not the only thing cooking today. We have a Brad Holmes grocery list. Brad Holmes is in the kitchen. That's coming up 8:15, 8:30. We're going to be talking about Emmanuel Moseley, his re-signing, what that means in the bigger picture of the Detroit Lions team at 8:45. Rod Beard, Detroit News sports editor-in-chief Rod Beard,
yes,
legendary sports media, Detroit sports media member Rod Beard will be joining us to talk about all sports at 8:45 and at 9. We're having our Woodward Pistons segment. That's one of my favorites I look forward to each week with Kool-Aid and Rod. And we got another special guest, two guests today.
Yeah,
Giovanni Moceri from WXOU 88.3. Call him a Golden Grizzlies, Oakland Golden Grizzlies super fan. He's going to tell us a little bit about this March Madness run. The Golden Grizzlies are about to start the Horizon League postseason tournament. They got to win it. They're in first place. They're the favorites. If they win it, they head to March Madness. How about that?
Yeah, so 2 titles for OU gets them into the tournament, into March Madness. And I'm really hoping they get there. They have some good players. It was kind of cool to see the relationship between Greg Campy and his players kind of in person, up close. And that gym was packed for Detroit Titans versus OU, and they're ready and primed to make a run. And I can't wait to see what it's going to be about.
It's going to be a blast. I can't wait to talk to Giovanni. Good morning, KG.
Good morning.
We got KG in the sound booth. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. How about you?
I'm doing great. Of course, I'm doing great.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
JB, how about you in the TD booth? This is our MVP in here. JB Smooth, how you doing? Good morning.
What's
What's up, fellas? I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Oh, fantastic.
Doing great,
fantastic. Kool-Aid, I know you're always doing good, but I need you to talk to me a little bit about last night. The Pistons lost 118-110 to Miami. They played hard.
Yeah.
I saw Cade go yam on Duncan Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
In the first half, go blue.
Easy money right there.
I think I saw him say go blue on the way up, too, bro.
I think so, and it was the wrong type of blue he was feeling. But they lost 118-110. Cade had 23, 8 assists, 4 rebounds in 34 minutes. Fontecchio had 22 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds in 29 minutes.
Yeah.
Jalen Duren had a double-double, 14 points, 10 rebounds. And I was looking through the team stats. I didn't see the full game. I watched the first half. It looked like they were right there, neck and neck with Miami. The only stat that was very similar, Pistons shot 28.6 from three-point percentage. Did that play a factor? Talk to me about this game real quick.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at the Pistons and in some of the games that they've won, it hasn't been a lot. that three-point shot has been there, the hustle has been there, the defense has been there. They had 2 of those 3 things going for them last night, but the three-point shot just wasn't falling. And you know what? We're going to talk about it a little bit more in our Woodward Pistons segment,
yes.
but we got to start to make some decisions on what you want to see next year. This year was supposed to be an assessment year by Troy Weaver's word, by Monty Williams' word, and by the organization's word, and that change was on the way. We already saw 8 players out, 8 players in, and now we have to kind of do the hard part of this kind of transition into a team that we believe is not ready to take the next step, but actually taking the next step. So, yeah, last night was kind of one of those games that some of the issues that I have with them that I hope that they figure out. That was one of those games that absolutely exposed. And obviously, the Miami Heat are a good team.
They're a very
good team. But the Pistons ran the game. They played hard. They hustled. They just couldn't knock down the shots. Even though you have guys like Simone Fontecchio on the team that can shoot, realistically, you need a lot more shooting on this team, especially in the starting lineup.
More to come.
Yes, sir.
More to come. More shooting to come. I like it. I like it. By the way, shout out in the chat. Anakin Sky Ogre. Happy birthday, brother.
Oh,
this is Anakin.
Birthday.
I don't know if he's one of our youngest guys. I know he's studying hard. I don't know if he's in high school or first year of college, but he's in just about every show supporting Woodward Sports Network. Anakin, happy birthday, brother. Also, I see some people in here talking about Braylon Edwards being a hero. I don't know if you guys heard that story. We covered it in our first segment yesterday. Our Woodward Sports, our Wake Up Woodward show yesterday from 8 to 8:15. We were talking about it. Also, they've been talking about Armani and Edwards. He is a hero, saved an 80-year-old man's life at the YMCA. He was getting beat up by a 25-year-old. Go check out that story. It's getting national news. Michelle Tafoya is covering it. Go check out official Braylon on X. Braylon Edwards, that's our hero here at Woodward Sports Network. Yeah. Also yesterday, unless you have something to say?
No, I was just going to say continue to let situations like that be the thing that inspires you to be just like Braylon was. You know, his whole aspect of being able to even talk about this was to be able to bring awareness to the fact that, you know what, just do good because it's something good to do. Help others because it's what's the right thing to do. So just wanted to be able to add that on there.
Yeah. Brian Root says Bray been whooping 20-year-olds. That's what he did all his time in Michigan as the number 3 overall pick in the NFL draft. Braylon Edwards, stud. Best wide receiver in Michigan football history. How about this, Tigers?
Talk to me about it. Our credential, Detroit Tigers.
Let's go.
Beat writer reporter.
Let's go.
Matthew
Another optimistic 3-0 loss. You heard that right. They lost 3-0 to the Atlanta Braves, but there's some optimism to take out of it. Go ahead.
Is there anything to take away from this game?
Yeah, there is.
Hey,
Reese Olson.
there we go.
Reese Olson and Kerry Carpenter. We're going to take something away from this game. Reese Olson pitched 3 innings. He gave up. Let me make sure my stats are right. 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And what I like to see, this is actually, you see the 0 walks. Reese Olson had been struggling with his command to start the spring training down in the Grapefruit League. This is a good Braves lineup. If he's starting, that means he's going through their order for the most part, a handful of starters, his first time through the order. So to not strike out anybody, he's working in the strike zone a lot more than he started spring training with. Where was I going to go with that? Oh, yeah. He had 4 strikeouts on 3 different pitches. He got him out with 2 changeups, 1 curveball, and 1 fastball. So he had a wide array of pitches working for him. Also, Kerry Carpenter. He made his return from a left hamstring strain. He got to face good old Spencer Strider, starting pitcher for the Braves. I think he finished 4th in the NL Cy Young last year. One of the best pitchers in baseball. In the first inning, Kerry Carpenter flew out, but he hit the ball hard to left center as a warning track almost dinger against a really good pitcher. He got another hit later in the game. So there you go. 2 good things to take out of a 3-0 loss to the Tigers. Again, 25 days till opening day. It's happening, boys. JB's getting excited. He texts me occasionally throughout the day. It's becoming more consistent. Whenever good things happen with the Tigers, JB, send me a little text and a little happiness.
I don't know what's happening. Like I said, I talked to Parker over the weekend as well, too, and I've been in contact with you as well. I don't know why, but you guys are getting me excited for Tigers baseball. I just don't know.
It's happening, JB.
I'm definitely going to be invested in the Tigers this year, a little bit more than I was last year, and I'm excited to see what, the future that has for these Tigers. So
you should. It's a good time.
Hey, and that hat game is strong, JB. Come on, we got to call out the hat, man. Let's put the camera back on there.
Throwback Tiger
Look
logo.
at that.
That's throwback, baby.
Look at that.
That's a throwback one.
See, all they needed was a little passion, a little energy. They're not going to be the best team in baseball. They're going to be challenging for the AL Central.
Yeah.
But they need this fan base. The energy is picking up, and I'm bringing that to you. I'm going to bring that to you every time we talk about the Tigers.
Look, Detroit sports fans are one of a kind, man. You know what? Like I said, you may see a dip as it relates to numbers in the actual arena, but as it relates to the passion, you feel that, man. Whether it be on social media, whether it be people you're just talking to, whether it be people even at the arena as well, man. You feel the passion of the fans and of the people. They don't give up on their teams, even if they believe that there's time to make major changes.
That's
or
a great
if it's
point.
Time to jump on the bandwagon.
That's a great point. There's a lot of people who have been angry or frustrated or still calling for Chris Ilitch to make moves. And whether you agree with that or not, the fact that they're this passionate about it, they're this frustrated, that just means that this team's fan base is for real. They're going to be there for the Tigers when they turn it around, when it happens, and I hope it's this year.
Yeah.
That fan base is going to be here, just like the Red Wings fan base has stuck by him for all these years.
Yeah.
Having missed the playoffs after a historic playoff run, they played tonight. They played tonight again against the Colorado Avalanche, who we last saw on Darren McCarty Heritage Night last time we were in LCA. But they go to Colorado, games at 9:30 p.m. tonight. Trade deadline in the NHL is coming up. Friday is that deadline. There were some rumors floating around. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Brian Rust from the Pittsburgh Penguins, two-time Stanley Cup champion, 31 years old. He signed until 2028, only a little over $5 million cap hit for the rest of his contract each year. But he's a Michigan native, went to Brother Rice. He's a Brother Rice Warrior right down the street.
Shout out.
Played at Notre Dame. One of those a defender. Actually, God, it's going to make me look stupid again. I can't remember if he's a defender or I think he plays defense. But nonetheless, he's a veteran who can come in, help a team sneak into the playoffs,
Don't
make a
worry,
playoff
bro.
run. Yeah, well,
Listen,
you
bro.
guys know hockey isn't my number one.
I don't think it's any of our number one. Do we love the Red Wings?
Hell yeah, we do.
With all of our hearts. But trust me, bro, you've already informed me even more than I would have
Let's
been
go.
prior. So, and we're going to definitely get other people on here, including D-Mac, Sean Belegian, and others, to be able to drop by the show and break down hockey even more at a micro level. But we're going to make sure that the Red Wings, their possibilities, their hopes, and their chances are at least getting some just due there. And I see the Red Wings hat over there.
Oh, yeah. Always. There you
Yeah.
go. I would wear it now, but I'm taking advantage of a decent hair day. I don't know. I've been wearing a hat a lot. Sometimes I'll give it a go.
Pretty aerodynamic over there. I like it.
That was one of my favorite freestyle awards that Harry Mack got on Omegle Bars 45. Nonetheless, you want to tee up this next one?
I
go
do.
to Lions?
I do, man. Look, we got to talk about the Lions a little early
All right, Kel.
today. We have to.
I said, all right, Kel. I do. Ooh.
Who loves orange
Coach
soda?
over there. We got to get Saturday Night Vibes going, bro.
Yeah, man.
We have to. But the Lions, man, they make a move to re-sign Emmanuel Moseley. Quandre Diggs gets released. The franchise tags are getting applied. There are other players out there and potential targets for the Lions in free agency who did not get franchised, people who are given the permission to go and explore free agency. I think it's time for Chef Brad Holmes to cook.
I think so.
I really think it is.
I think so. But this Emmanuel Moseley signing, I have something to say about how this free agency landscape is playing out. I have something to say to Brad Holmes that we're going to talk about in the next segment. But I'm optimistic. I like this Emmanuel Moseley move. And I'm going to talk about that more in the next segment. But I want to go around the room real quick. What do you guys feel? And KG, I'm looking at you, so I'll start with you.
Okay.
What are your feelings on re-signing Emmanuel Moseley? He played 2 snaps last year. He was a pretty high ticket, although injured free agent cornerback that Brad Holmes and team had brought in last season.
Yeah.
Got injured again in the game he made his return. How do you feel about him coming back again?
So real quick, I didn't see the contract numbers. Do we have?
We
what
don't
was the
yet.
Contract? Oh, it's not out yet.
We're good. We're good.
It's not out yet. Yeah. So I mean, I don't have a problem with it. My only critique is I hope they aren't trying to still push him as the number 1 CB on the team because coming off 2 ACL injuries, that's pretty tough. I wouldn't have him as the focal point of my cornerback room, but it's good to have him in the room. It's definitely good to have that depth on the team. So I still would like them to go out and pursue a number 1 corner though. In my eyes.
Love it. Kool-Aid. First reaction: Emmanuel Moseley's back.
My first reaction actually was that I believe Brad Holmes thinks that Emmanuel Moseley can play that cornerback one spot. Not that that's who they're putting all their hopes into, because I do agree with some of what you're talking about, KG. But that maybe the signals they might go in a different direction in terms of what free agency might bring in. That they might actually try and target somebody they think can grow into that cornerback one spot in the draft.
Awesome.
That's at least where my mind went.
Yeah, great first reaction. JB, back to you. What do you think, Emmanuel Moseley?
As well with KG, I don't know the contract numbers, but I believe in this re-signing as basically Brad Holmes saying that he still believes in Emmanuel Moseley. He still has confidence in him. I know this past season wasn't the best. Obviously, 2 snaps and you're done. But he brought him back for a reason, and that's honestly just because he believes in him. And now he can't be the CB1, and I really don't know what's going on with CD Deuce right now, given his Instagram posts and everything like that. But still, at the same time, you still need. I think he will service as a veteran cornerback, but you still need help in depth in that room as well too. So it's a decent signing.
Love to hear it. I am a fan of the signing. I'll tell you why when we get back. But first, let me tell you about Planet Fitness, because it's the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and guess what? All memberships include fitness training. You get all of this for $10 a month. That's right, $10, no commitment, no matter where you are. There is a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. So again, Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party, it's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and you offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford. Buick GMC, they still have the same great service that their customers have come to know and trust. They're located, you got to check them out, located on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile Road. You can also check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Let's drive right down Woodward. What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. We will have open phone lines as well. Let me drop that number, 313-552-6322. Also, get your mailbag questions in throughout the show. We want to be able to read the best ones before we close today. And as always, chat family, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for energizing and encouraging us as well. Continue to do so by hitting that like button. If you already have, then make sure you encourage somebody else to do so as well. Let's try and increase this Wake Up Woodward family.
Let's go.
Like we said, a big part of it is this chat.
Oh, it's the key ingredient. And we're going to be cooking later. Brad Holmes is actually going to be cooking in this segment here coming up at 8:30. Yep. But this chat is everything. That's what makes this show. That's what separates us from all the other media outlets out there. So we appreciate you for being here.
Yes, sir. But we got to talk about this Quandre Diggs.
Well, we're hitting on Emmanuel Moseley first, but it leads in to that secondary discussion on needs, on not needs. Because Quandre Diggs, that former Lion, he was released by the Seahawks along with Jamal Adams, along with a handful of other other players around the NFL, as the franchise tag deadline hit yesterday, that's when all these decisions were made on which players are some of these teams giving that bag to for a year. There are a few different types of franchise tags. We're not going to get too in-depth into it, but what it did was it showed which one of these big-ticket players are either going to be available once free agency starts in a week, or maybe what franchise tag players like a L'Jarius Sneed would be available via trade, via sign and trade. There are a couple different things that could happen, but Quandre Diggs, he's one that a lot of Lion fans have been clamoring for. But to understand where this defense is headed, where the secondary is headed, we kind of got to understand, or at least speculate on what's in Brad Holmes' head with this Emmanuel Moseley signing. Because to me, it's a low risk. It's a very low risk, pretty significantly high reward move. We don't know the numbers on the 1-year contract, but we know how good Emmanuel Moseley was at his time in San Francisco before he tore his first ACL. He unfortunately tore his other ACL 2 plays in to his time with the Lions. He's expected to be back at the latest October. I believe he was hurt in the October 9th game. So I'm putting that at about a year as full health. We should expect Emmanuel Moseley. There is a chance that speeds up. The process of that rehab speeds up. And what makes me optimistic about Emmanuel Moseley, not that he's had 2 ACL injuries and 2 ACL surgeries, it's that when you think when he first tore his left ACL, you got to imagine his right wasn't 100% healthy. You know, after playing in the league for a couple of years, after playing his whole life playing football, that's not 100%.
And rehab put stress on the other leg that wasn't affected as well.
Yes, so when he's rehabbing his first ACL, he's putting a lot of stress on the other one. And if that doesn't start at 100%, there's a better chance of injuring that other ACL. So now the benefit of this happening, and it happening so soon, if there's any positive to look at it, he had just rehabbed his first torn ACL, meaning that ACL was at 100% when he tore his other one. So he's starting with an advantage. As he goes through this rehab for his second ACL surgery, it means the one he is rehabbing on is stronger. And that's a benefit. That's something that he should be back, if not close to normal. If not back to 2021, close to that. And Emmanuel Moseley, if he's 80%, he's still the number 1 DB on this team, the number 1 cornerback on this team, and that gives me optimism.
It does give me optimism, and that was kind of my thoughts as well. You know, I shared a little bit of it in the first segment. If Emmanuel Moseley is to where Brad Holmes believes he can go out there and still have the effect that he originally thought he could as a cornerback 1 type of a player, then I am a lot more comfortable with the Detroit Lions rather than going out and potentially making a splash for a big-time cornerback. Being able to go out there and find one in the draft that players like Emmanuel Moseley can help. You know, you talked about, KG, the locker room effect. You know, if
this is a huge part.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. It's like, do I personally want them to go out there and find some good players to put in that secondary as well as on the defensive line? I really do. But obviously, Brad Holmes, he's seeing something that I think some people aren't seeing. You know, Emmanuel Moseley was a very polarizing signing, especially on our socials, man. When we put that out there were a lot of people that were like, you know what, let Brad cook. If this is what he's believing, then let him cook. Because there was a lot of people who, at last year's draft, they decided, hey, we're going to doubt Brad Holmes. We're going to doubt some of these things that he's doing. And a lot of people got egg on their face. But then with Emmanuel Moseley, this was also a signing of Brad Holmes, and it didn't work out for the Detroit Lions. Now you got round 2 of this, and it's like we all know the type of player he can be. Now it's just a matter of him being able to be healthy. I'm hoping that, you know, the both surgically repaired knees. Sometimes those things are better than before. You know, when the knee had a lot of stress and such. So I am really hoping that since Brad Holmes has already re-signed him, that he can be, like you say, at least 60, 70, 80% of what he was in San Francisco. And it will be an upgrade for these Detroit Lions. But is it enough for a Super Bowl type push?
What it tells you is they're not. Oh, sorry. Were you about to say something?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
No, let it fly.
No, I don't know if he's going to be the same player. That's the only thing I really have concerns about. It's not himself. I feel like he was definitely a good DB before all this happened, but almost 2 years out of football now. You know, that's tough to come back from, man. But I am hopeful that he can get it done. But this also says to me, I feel like they're definitely going in the cornerback direction in the draft. I don't know whether it'll be first round, but I definitely expect them to grab a corner in the draft as well.
It's funny you said that. I do think that's a direction they're headed, and I'll show you where they're probably planning to pick a cornerback. But my last note on the Moseley signing is that your risk is the money that you give to him, which is not going to be very much.
Yeah.
There's a benefit. The salary cap just went up an extra 12% even than they expected. So you're using a very small amount on a 1-year deal for Emmanuel Moseley. And shout out Jeremy Reisman of Pride of Detroit, who pointed out that because he only played 2 snaps last year or under a certain threshold, and then he was out for the season, whatever contract he signs right now can be structured in a way that doesn't count at all against the cap this year. So it's almost like getting him for free. So he is one of those guys. When he was hurt last year, he was in the building. He was working with the young guys. He's so well respected.
Yeah.
And so hypothetically, you don't get him back till the playoffs. Maybe this takes a little longer. He's not, or maybe he's not the same till the playoffs. Emmanuel Moseley seems like that type of person, too. Should he play well at the end of the season, he'll look back on this Detroit Lions team that took a chance on him for 2 years and say, hey, I'll maybe he's got long-term suitors out there, but he'll stick with the Detroit. You gave me a chance. I'll take a little less and stay with you for a couple years. So there's a lot of upside there.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Interesting signing. A very, very, very polarizing signing. But with this one, we know that Brad Holmes makes decisions for us. Course, what people can do on that field, but also who they are as men in that locker room.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping at the very least that the intrinsic value is there. I know KG is like, I don't know what's going to be there necessarily, but at the very least, I'm hoping that the intrinsic value in that locker room is there. Something where whoever they bring in through the draft, whoever they may go out there and target in free agency can benefit from Emmanuel Moseley being on this team.
Yes, and now I got a smile on the face because although I'm often a frugal Jewish man, Jewish that is, I'm turning a little bit on what I want Brad Holmes, how I want him to address this offseason. And what this pick tells me, this is my speculation scenario. This is my scenario I want you guys to chew on here for a second. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking this signing of Moseley, this means that they're going for a cornerback with their first pick. They're either trading up for someone who can at least start this. You're going to have to throw someone into the fire to either be your number one or guard the other team's number one wide receiver. So I'm thinking maybe a bigger cornerback. But I do think they're attacking the first round with a cornerback, hoping Moseley comes back midway through the season, they can help develop whoever that player is. If he can withstand the first couple months of the season, they can keep developing him while Moseley's in the building, working with Sutton, working with Vilder, working with maybe C.D. Deuce.
Maybe.
They're waiting for Moseley to come back. But what that tells me, there's a lot of speculation about L'Jarius Sneed, a big deal incoming with L'Jarius Sneed. But I don't want to have to acquire a cornerback in a trade, especially if you got all these young guys. You got Moseley maybe coming back. You just drafted a number one cornerback. So what's the one thing or one position or one player even that you think could help out a secondary the most? He's a big boy. It's Chris Jones. It's Chris Jones. You go and you pay Chris Jones. You come in here and you let him be a game wrecker. You let him absolutely transform this entire defense next to Ali McNeil, next to Aiden Hutchinson. This new cornerback you're drafting, whether it's 29, you move up to 18 to get Quinyon Mitchell. You got Chris Jones right in the middle, causing a ruckus, making it that much harder for the quarterbacks. That's what I'm about. I know Brad Holmes is talking about attacking free agency with depth. We're talking about depth?
Yeah.
We're talking about depth here?
Allen Iverson voice, yeah. We're talking about depth.
Right? JB, is there a clip you can play? We talking about depth?
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
So you're worried about depth? Like depth is I didn't even know they had depth. I'm just happy to be there. You're worried about like depth is an issue? So you're
like seriously though, Brett. Yeah. Chris Jones to me, if you're worried about depth, that's 2 human beings. Yeah. You get one person for $30 million. That's 2 players. Yeah, sold.
Because I know that the price tag is high, and a lot of people they talk about.
Worried about
what
depth?
will this do?
I just had to get that in there.
See, I knew JV was going to be cooking.
And the TD move, JV Smooth, Woodward Sports MVP. But you know what? Ryan Armani and Braylon Edwards, they were talking about this yesterday, and they made the same exact point. You know, yes, it's going to be a high price tag, but he's more than worth it because of how good he can make all three levels of your defense, man. The extra time that he gives to the cornerbacks, the little bit of time that he's going to give to the quarterback on the opposing team, what he does for your linebackers. Braylon Edwards was one who believed that a Chris Jones type of a signing, not only does it help out an Aiden Hutchinson and an Lee McNeil, but he believed that Jack Campbell was one of the ones that could benefit the most from having a player like Chris Jones on this team.
It helps linebackers, it helps secondary, it helps everybody.
And that's why that price tag is the one that he would command. Absolutely. And you talk about on this team, for me personally, it's about maximizing this Super Bowl window. If you were still kind of in this build mode to kind of see what you are, trying to get to the playoffs, maybe trying to win a playoff game, maybe trying to win the division for the first time, yeah, maybe you take a step back and say, you know what, we're not ready to go out there and make this type of a splash. But when you're going out there right after you lose to the San Francisco 49ers and all the players have continued and the coaches have continued to talk about the fact that, you know what, we want to be one of those teams that's right back. We believe we're going to be one of those teams that's right back. You got to go out there and you got to push that button. As Sam would say, as it relates to the draft, like pick. As it relates to free agents that I believe absolutely put the Detroit Lions over the top, is Chris Jones. He's one of those guys that I'm just like, sign. With the cap space going up, with them being able to kind of re-sign some of their players and lower their current year cap hits, I'm actually all for a signing like that if they could get it done. And it's crazy because Chris Jones, I don't know if it's necessarily been rumors over the last couple of years of maybe Detroit Lions interest, but at least I know it's continued to kind of fester and pop up to some degree. And now that this guy's a free agent and they're telling him to go out there and explore it, I'm really hoping that Detroit Lions, at the very least, kick the tires and see what could be had out of Chris Jones.
Yeah. And Xavier D, I happen to agree with you. I don't think Brad drops a bag on anyone. Rentals and draft talent, that is what I'm assuming the draft strategy, the free agency strategy is. But I'm getting closer and closer. Maybe this is my pound the table moment. Like, take advantage of now. Just go for it.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
And I'm all with Brad Holmes and the strategy. It's worked, people. Like, there's nothing against that. But when you get so close to a Super Bowl, you have to take advantage of that window. We don't know when we're going to be back here. We assume we're going to be back here, but nothing's guaranteed in this league, man. And if you have the money to not only be able to pay free agents, but still be able to take care of your own guys, I feel like the time is now. You got to move on it.
And let's look at some of the, and we got to get to break because Chef Brett Holmes is about to cook coming up next. We're going to go over a little grocery list of his. But you look at some of the top cornerbacks on the free agency market, even some of the top in the league. Let's just start in Kansas City. L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, studs. Who do they have right there in the middle? Chris Jones. Yeah. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed. Even Michael Carter III was the 7th-ranked quarterback according to PFF. They got Quinnen Williams. Bengals DJ Reader, Chidobe Awuzie, and Mike Hilton. There's I literally have a list of 10 different players, like the top 12 to 20 cornerbacks. They all have a stud at defensive tackle or a top pass rusher. It's what you got to do, especially if you're going to go the draft and develop route. You can still develop. You can actually develop better with a guy like Chris Jones stuffing the middle.
And Chris Jones. Oof.
Yeah, and Herb Nash in the chat, he says, we say this would be great, but would Jones say pick to come to Detroit? I do believe that this is a completely different Detroit Lions than the past. Who knows if he says pick to come to Detroit? I know that there was some hubbub going up on social media because of an emoji he put up that makes people believe maybe he has some interest in the Raiders. But I believe that this Detroit Lions team, especially with the way the organization is going, if you got the cash, I think that that's going to speak louder than anything else. And then when you talk about the fact that he can be you talk about a cult figure in Detroit. If you help this Detroit Lions get over the top, I don't know how much that does or doesn't matter to him. But I do know, as it relates to Sheila, as it relates to Brad, as it relates to Dan, if they believe that Chris Jones is the guy to put them over the top, I think that they're going to do everything in their power to say, hey, let's make this happen. I do agree with you that I believe that they're going to take more of a reserved approach to free agency and try and really go out there and get some home runs in the draft, though.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see. But let's figure out what is on that grocery shopping list for Brad Holmes when we come back. Salary cap keeps getting higher and higher and higher. And if you want to feel maybe a similar way, visit Dispo Dispensary today because the tournament is finally here. Dispo is giving away. You see what I did there? They're giving away $1,000 to the best bracket at each location. That's Battle Creek, Romeo, Whitmore Lake, Hazel Park, Bay City, North and South, Ann Arbor. Go get your blank brackets now, fill them out, and return them by St. Patty's Day on March 17th to secure your entry for a chance at that $1,000. That's Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
How would you like to win $50,000? It's the Woodward Sports 50K Bracket Buster Challenge, brought to you by Glorious Cannabis, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, and Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. Register for your chance to win at any Lady Jane's or Soroki's location, or just scan that QR code right over there. Right there. The shot clock is ticking. Register today at woodwardsportsbracket.com. That's woodwardsportsbracket.com. And guess what? You could be $50,000 richer. Let's go.
What up, dog? Detroit, welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward.
Wake up.
And you know what? We got to shout out our brother, Sam Reynolds, a.k.a. Flannel Sam. Get better soon, brother. Get better soon. We're missing you this morning. Shout out to Terry Foster as well, the legend, our sixth man. We're going to have him on soon. And
shout out Anakin Skyogre. We shouted you out in the first segment, so go back and watch that. But it's your 17th birthday today. Happy birthday, brother. Thank you for joining us. Let's go.
And I got to shout out our elite booth over here.
Stop it, man.
We got Detroit's #1 draft pick over here, the real KG.
Let's go.
In the sound booth, man. Thank you for all that you do. I'm grateful to have you on the show. And Woodward Sports' MVP over here in the TD booth.
TD. Said it
We
right
got
that time.
JB Smooth with the fire hat too. It's so dope, bro. How you guys doing just before we get to this?
Hey, man, I'm good. I'm chilling, man. I'm excited for next week, though. This free agency period, man. Oh, my God. I really want to see where Brad Holmes is going to go with this, man. I'm sick of doing all the guessing game, man. It's time to get to it. Let's get to it.
Let's go. Let's
JB,
go.
what up, though?
Hey, man, I feel the same way as KG, man. I really want to know the direction that Brad Holmes is going. I know it's nice to sit here and speculate as much as we do and fantasize about all these players that can actually come to the Lions, but I need that hard evidence right now. Who is coming to Detroit to get us to the Super Bowl, baby?
Sounds like Brad Holmes has some ingredients to go gather up before free agency begins in 1 week.
Ooh,
do you guys
look at
have a
that.
certain day? Look at that, cooking with Brad.
Brad.
Do you guys have a certain day that you like to go grocery shopping? I know for my dad, he's a first thing in the morning on Sunday, go to Costco, sometimes Saturday actually. Literally, he has to wait in line, in and out, 10, 15 minutes max. That's his thing. Some people go Sunday mornings, maybe Tuesdays, fresher produce. Sometimes comes on Mondays. You guys have a certain day?
Man, I just go whenever the food is needed. My kids,
Pretty much.
It's almost like daily, man.
Yeah.
I get home and like
Snacks.
the bread's gone, the fruit's gone, the cereal's like all over the floor, and I gotta just kind of run right back out and get some more.
I love it. I love it. Everyone's got a different way to approach it. I think Brad has his own way to approach this free agency, the ingredients that he's going to be cooking with
Yeah.
as we head into this 2024 season.
Brad-
So now that the franchise tags are signed,
Yeah.
now that we get an idea of who some of the upcoming free agents are going to be, I want to ask you guys, what ingredients, what players, what free agents would be on your grocery list? Talk to me about what you're cooking with. Kool-Aid,
You know
I'm
what?
going to come to you.
Thinking about the conversation that we had yesterday, one of those players' names that continued to stick with me was Jadeveon Clowney. You're talking about somebody who could potentially be had as a value when I'm trying to think like the way Brad Holmes thinks, some of the signings that he's made, and what I believe he's going to do in this draft to go out there and get high impact players that will be able to play big roles for this team. I do believe that a player like a Jadeveon Clowney, who wouldn't cost a whole lot but could bring a potential big impact to that defensive line, would be somebody that Brad Holmes could cook with, man. I believe it's low risk, high reward, low cost as well.
Got you.
Definitely.
So more of the brand name, not necessarily not going brand name, but maybe going with a little more discount shopping, save some money for a rainy day.
Look, man, that's what my grandfather, he's one of those guys that used to go, rest easy, Grandpa. But he was one of those guys that would clip every coupon, double points, and go to like the local grocery store, like the Spartan store.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like that. And to me, this is one of those types of picks. You get your coupons, it's still a good brand, but you're going to get a deal on this thing here.
I love it.
Definitely.
I love it. So he's cooking.
He's
KG,
What
what ingredients are you picking up at the grocery store if you're Brad Holmes?
Well, listen, man, you still got to have some D-line in that masterpiece that you making, Chef's Kiss. To me, I hate to keep pushing the Leonard Williams button, but I just got to keep pushing the Leonard Williams button, man. I feel like Leonard Williams would be a great addition to this defense. 29 years old. He's coming off his probably biggest contract. And he got traded to the Seahawks mid-season. He ended up taking a pay cut for the trade. So I don't think he'll command a lot of money. I'm also trying to keep in mind Brad Holmes, value shopping mentality. He won't cost a lot. He still gives a lot of production sack-wise. He gets in the backfield. He would be a perfect addition. But if you want to go maybe a tad cheaper than that, somebody I think we've been overlooking.
The bags of cereal.
Danico Autry. Danico Autry.
Yeah.
And when you look at the signing of Terrell Williams being here, him working with Danico, I think this would be a really good fit for him. And if you look at his last contract, I think it was 3 years, $21 million per. I don't think he'll command much more than that, but you'll probably have to pay a little more. He's coming off an 11.5 sack season. 8 before that, 9 before that. So I think those two players should definitely be on your shopping list if you're trying to cook this thing up the right way.
Yeah, and one of the players that I had, because I had 3 players listed, but Jadeveon was what I thought was going to be the good value pick. When we're talking about a Bryce Huff, though. When you're talking about a Bryce Huff, what do you place him in terms of value? Because I part of me feels like he's going to be a person that costs at least a little bit of money, like the mid-tier.
Yeah, like he's not on the shelf at Whole Foods, but he's not at the dollar store. He's maybe in that Kroger brand. You're getting him for a deal. Maybe you got your Kroger rewards.
Oh, that's simply truth.
Yeah, yes. Albertsons and other parts of the country. I think he's right there. Right, he's one with a lot of upside. You're getting more. You're getting more with less. You're paying less, but maybe you're getting that all-in-one seasoning mix versus the salt and the pepper and the paprika and the Cajun seasoning.
He's that Montreal steak seasoning.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Exactly.
I like that one.
Exactly.
I like
So
that.
Jadeveon Clowney, and then you said
Bryce Huff.
Bryce Huff. That's right.
Yeah.
Former New York Jet. Stud. JB, I'm coming to you unless we got Rod Beard on at this moment.
We do not have Rod Beard at the moment.
Which means you have more time to cook. You have more time, actually not to cook, to grocery shop. I got to stick with the grocery shop.
To grocery shop. Now, look, I know you guys were talking about Chris Jones, and this would be amazing if Chris Jones got here, but I don't think Brad Holmes is the type to spend money like this, especially if you're cooking on a budget. So, why not go and get the second best thing? Boy, Christian Wilkins. Out of Miami, who is a free agent right now. He's coming off a very nice season, 9 sacks, 23 QB hits, and I think he's going to cost you a lot less than Chris Jones. So instead of paying that $120 million, maybe somewhere around that 80 range.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that for sure. And you know what? You might want to get some chickens. Some chickens.
Get the chicken.
Some birds, some Seahawks, some reserve Seahawks.
Okay. A little duck à l'orange.
Yeah, and Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams. Now look,
Both?
I know that
No way
they
you
are
talking
very
both.
I'm talking both.
That's that 2-for-1 buy one get one free
Right?
special.
This must be a special going on.
I'm talking depth here.
We talking
I'm
depth?
talking depth. Now, look, I know both of these guys have had a lot of injuries, but this is a perfect buy low deal and prove it for both of these guys. Brad's not going to spend a lot of money, but he does have confidence in some of these players that I truly believe in. And honestly, form a line. Why not come back to a regime that's, growing as of right now, that's going to be better than what you left it as back in 2019. So these are two guys that you can sit here and buy low and tell them to prove it. And hey, he brought back Emmanuel Moseley. He got that torn ACL, so hey, he kind of likes injured players.
He sure does.
Just saying.
Injured players and pick number 12, Brad Holmes. That's high on his grocery shopping list. High. I'm not. I know we were talking about Chris Jones, but if I'm going grocery shopping, I'm in more of the bargain aisle. I not necessarily. I'm not getting the bag of cereal, but I'm getting the Kroger brand. And I'm looking offensive line, and I'm looking in that DB room again, that cornerback room. Michael Wenyu from the New England Patriots. He played tackle last season, but he's played guard the first 4 seasons of his career. He's a very versatile offensive lineman. He's projected, again, hypothetical, around $12 million a year annually. So he'd be cheaper than Jonah Jackson, but more expensive than obviously a rookie or a lower end guard. But he's super versatile and one you can trust in a pretty sophisticated Hank Fraley offensive line, a Ben Johnson offense in a system with Hank Fraley as their offensive line coach. He can slide right in there. I would love Michael Wenyu. Then on defense, we talked about that 1-year deal for Moseley. We talked about spending a lot of money on Chris Jones. This leads me right to a 1-year deal for a veteran, formerly on the Cowboys. Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore.
Pair him up with his brother.
Yes. The more I've thought about this, and I don't want him to come. I wouldn't want to sign him to be the long-term piece at number 1. I want him on a 1-year deal, which he'll probably accept. Probably going to be around $10 million. So not cheap, but you're bringing him here for 1 year while Moseley's recovering. While you drafted a number 1 cornerback, you got Stephon Gilmore there to mentor him. He gets to pair with his brother, Stephen Gilmore, help bring a Super Bowl to Detroit. He's already a Super Bowl champion. Was it 2-time? 1-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, and in 2019 Defensive Player of the Year. I want that on my team for 1 year. So he's 34, so only 1 year. But it seems like the perfect bridge to get to 2025.
And since you're in the cornerback aisle, I had a third name. I didn't want to just drop it all out there. Kendall Fuller.
Kendall, you're a Kendall Fuller guy.
Yeah, I don't know quite yet. I don't know quite yet.
I feel like I'm in the minority, but people like Kendall Fuller.
Kendall Fuller. What do you guys think about Kendall Fuller, man?
I told you yesterday I would be okay with it, but I would still want them to probably pursue another body, But he does bring Super Bowl experience to the team, and even though his interception numbers ain't great, he still makes up for it in other areas. So I'm not opposed.
Kendall Fuller is one of those guys on my list of defensive tackles, edge rushers. He had a stud defensive line in Washington. Obviously, they got rid of Montez Sweat. But he was a beneficiary of that, and they still had a trash defense. I worry about that. I worry. What? I worry. But we maybe have to revisit this if we have any more ingredients to sprinkle in later. But we got Rot Beard on the line. So let's get to break. We're going to have Kool-Aid talk about, what?
It looked like the whole grocery list was all defense.
Interesting. I had one offensive lineman, but
most of it was defense, all right? Let me tell you guys about Guardian Alarm. It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. Once again, that number is 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
What up, though, Detroit? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. The phone lines are open, 313-552-6322. I need you guys also to hit that like button. If you already have, encourage others to do the same and share this stream, post the stream, get it out there on social media. Let's take this thing to the moon. Let's continue to get this chat family larger and larger and larger. I can't wait. I know we got some boots on the ground events March 17th. At the Pistons game when they're going to honor the 2004 Detroit Pistons. We would like to see you guys out there and interact. I also know we have opening day on the way, and we got some other things kind of mixed in as well that we will tell you guys as it gets locked in. But we have the State of Detroit Sports Union address from Detroit News editor, sports editor-in-chief, Mr. Rod Beard. We salute thee, Chief.
Good morning, Rod.
Shout out that Tribe Called Quest shirt too.
Yeah, that's nice.
We can't hear we can't hear Rod. I don't know if that's on us or if that's on Rod. Are you muted by chance, Mr. Beard?
Happy Wednesday.
There we go.
There it is.
There we go. Happy Wednesday, man. First and foremost, how are you doing today?
Hey, I got my tennis in, man. It's Wednesday morning. That's the ritual we got to go through and get the workout in before we start the day. So all good to go.
All good to go.
And Rod and JB, I'm gonna go to JB. You noticed something on the shirt? I can't see. What'd you notice, JB?
I noticed the Tribe Called Quest shirt on there. Shout out, represent,
Classic.
man. That's a classic.
Culture. Rod is a man of culture.
A man of many talents. T-shirts, I guess, is one of those. Yeah.
I love it, Rod. Well, we were just talking. We were talking Detroit Lions with the franchise tag decisions that were made yesterday. Some big time players were released. Really, the picture of free agency has been painted a little bit clearer. What if you're Brad Holmes? If you're going to the grocery store with a shopping list, what are some of the ingredients you're looking for in free agency? What are you trying to cook with?
I mean, I'm certainly trying to improve the defensive line and the rush. And we've talked about this, especially at the end spot. You can improve on Lee McNeil and give him another compliment there too. But what Brad Holmes has always talked about has been depth. It's not just go get the high price something from Whole Foods. You got to shop at Kroger. You got to stop in the Aldi and get you some things just to fill your depth, to make sure that you have players for when that injury happens, that you're able to fill it and not have to go out in the middle of the season and fill with a practice squad guy or a discard from another team. You want to make sure you have all of the pieces that you need and the depth to withstand some of that. We saw that with the secondary last year with Moseley and CJGJ. When those guys went down, they were able to come in with some other guys. The depth is always the concern there, though.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, one of those big names, if they were to make a splash that fans have continued to talk about, we've bantered about on this show, other shows on this network have, Chris Jones. And you were talking about that's the piece that you believe, Broder. If the Lions sign him, and I believe this too, would definitely put him over the top. But where do you think Brad Holmes' mind is at as it relates to these big-time free agents? And I know you mentioned Aldi, so I probably kind of know which way you guys are believing this thing is leaning.
No, I think you have to be careful with that because that is a big splash sort of thing. And if you take a cue from what they did at the trade deadline or what they didn't do at the trade deadline and going to get a Chase Young or a Montez Sweat or a big name at the time, I think that tells you a little bit about what the principles are going to be is you're not giving up something to do it. And we know from our NBA talks, Brandon, that cap space is an asset. You can't just go and give that away. It's not a player. But if you make the wrong moves, it can set you back for even longer than trading a first-round pick So you've got to be careful with that. Make sure that you're getting something that's going to fit, that's going to help, that's going to stay healthy, and that fits the culture and everything else that you're trying to do.
Yeah, definitely. Another player of note, former Detroit Lion draft pick, Quandre Diggs. He was probably traded away from here before a lot of fans were ready to see him be able to go. That one was one that kind of stung.
Definitely traded away. Traded away before he should have been.
Yeah, definitely. And now he's going to have the opportunity to sign wherever he would like to, and there's a lot of fans across social media. You're talking about there being a lot of different polarizing things. This is one, especially on our social media, where we've seen fans in unison say, bring him back. What are your thoughts and feelings on Quandre Diggs, the player, and a potential reunion with the Detroit Lions, the possibilities?
It's possible. He's been solid. But you need an impact guy if you're going to go out and do that. And there's been nothing that suggests that safety is a position that they want to go out and improve in. They can do it for depth reasons, but it's not he's your guy to come in and make you definitely better. He's not a game changer, I don't think, in that respect. So you can look at it, you can kick the tires a little bit, but again, you got to measure what you're able to get with this cap space overall and kind of do the pros and cons there.
Hey, Rod, KG here. A big topic of discussion in the city has been, whether Brad Holmes is going to trade up or trade back. If the decision was up to you, which one would you do? Would you trade up or would you trade back? Which direction has more value in your opinion?
See, the thing with trading up or trading back in the draft is you have to read the draft and see what's going on, like real time, to say, here's a guy that we've identified on our chart that we want. Wait, he's falling a couple of spots lower than we thought he was. We can trade up and go to, let's say, 17. You can go get a guy at 17. But what's the highest that you would want to trade for a guy that you want who's starting to drop? You just got to wait in real time and see, are other teams picking this guy or picking other guys over this guy? And then why? You do some due diligence and you make some calls and say, hey, what's going on with this guy? Why is he falling? If he's the top, let's say, receiver. Let's say Marvin Harrison is falling. Let's say Marvin Harrison is falling.
Yeah.
And he gets down to 10 or 12. You're like, what the heck is going on? There's no way he should be down at 10 or 12.
Right.
Make a couple calls. Hey, what's going on? Did you see something in his medicals? What are we doing? And so then, would you trade up to get Marvin Harrison? Well, yeah. If it's a reasonable price. So you look at all of those things and kind of say, hey, is Terrion Arnold a guy that you trade up for? You can get similar value somewhere else. What do you have to give up in order to trade to a spot where you can get him?
I really like that. I really like that idea. And Mike G in the chat, one of our OG chat members, oh, shoot, he just had a comment. He says, hey, Rod, speaking of shopping, can we return Darko back to Target?
Yeah, I was going to ask that one.
That receipt expired.
Is that even Target? That seems like it's a Spartan store.
That's like Five Below. The value there is just so completely gone. That's Dollar General. That's
Dollar General. It's like the old dollar store, not the new one that's like everything's $1.25,
right?
$3, $5 now.
Funny you asked that. I got a Darko rookie card with me on the desk.
Wow.
It also is a LeBron James rookie card, but it's got Darko on it.
Just put daggers all in Detroit Pistons fans' hearts. Man.
Dagger.
So I'll admit this. When the Pistons had one of their kind of warehouse sales and getting rid of all of the stuff they had, the Darko warm-up jacket was $5, $10. Damn. I'm like, yeah, let me cop that. So it's somewhere. I've got it somewhere around here.
That's amazing. That's amazing. My last question before we get into our Woodward Pistons segment here at 9:00 a.m. It revolves around the Red Wings and the upcoming trade deadline. Dylan Larkin is hurt. They got speculation they're going to call up maybe Casper, maybe Edvinson, maybe just stay in-house. Do you expect Steve Yzerman to do anything drastic here at the trade deadline, or any predictions on what he might do before Friday?
Nothing drastic and nothing impulsive. I think he's been very measured in how he's looked at this roster and the progression that they're going to make. So unless there's something that he thinks drastically improves the roster and coming at a smaller cost, I don't think he's going to mortgage the long-term future in order to try to make a splash, because they're battling for the 7th or 8th seed. They're not battling for the number 1 seed, and they're going to make a run here. looking at the playoff prospects, do they have a goalie situation where they're going to get hot and win 2 or 3 rounds? No. So if you're not doing that, there's no need to go in and with full bore and say we're going to buy and we're going to make a drastic buy that's going to mortgage the future for us.
Rod, you know what's coming up next segment, man, and I can't wait for it. So we need everybody to get those drum rolls ready to salute the Chief, man. And it's almost that time. Thank you as well for these comments on the lines as well. You know, it kind of put a little bit of a bow on the topic that we had today. We were cooking with Chef Brad Holmes. We had him in a little chef hat and everything. He was in the Food Network kitchen. It was a good time, man. It was a good time. And people, the phone lines are open, 313-552-6322. We need you guys as well. Hit that like button, especially for the legend over here, Mr. Rod Beard, Detroit News sports editor-in-chief. Make sure you guys go check out the Detroit News as well. They do great work. I love a lot of the people over there, man. They definitely look out for me when I'm in the at LC in the media room. Just good people.
Justin
overall.
Rogers, Noam Bianchi. They got a great team you've
Mike
got.
Curtis, my guy, man.
Yes,
definitely.
You know who else has a great team? It's Big Boy. It's Big Boy. And Seafood Fest.
Seafood Best.
Seafood Best. The best seafood. Seafood Fest is back. And if you would like a fish sandwich with Tim Meadows, catch it while you can. I know that transition wasn't my best of the day. Dive into fish and tips with their new Parmesan encrusted pot, perfectly fried clam strip platter, or delicious fish sandwich. A Big Boy must try the new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to their popcorn shrimp Alfredo, or shrimp stir fry. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy. God, this one is hard for me to read with my lisp or something. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy. And don't forget, every Friday night, the all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Check them out at Big Boy today.
Show them my fishy tips.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Football season is officially over and spring training is here. Opening day is almost here, but you know what? Jack Labrador is here 24/7, 365 days a year. You can learn how to play now on your phone at jacklabrador.gg. They got 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play, and you got to remember, once you go Jack, you never go back. So check them out, jacklabrador.gg today.
Today. Hey, welcome back, man. What up, though? Wake up, Woodward family. Hit that like button for the legend, Mr. Rod Beard, Detroit News sports editor-in-chief, and he always brings the heat. I'm so glad that we get him on every single Wednesday to talk all of Detroit sports.
Hashtag
and as
blast.
always, as usual, we do have our Woodward Pistons segment. If you have any questions for the legend, Mr. Rod Beard, or any statements or comments, get them into the chat right now. But we got to get this drum roll going.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's rock. Hey, yo! Shout out to the legend, Detroit News, Rod Beard. And as always, Mr. Legend himself, we got to kick it off with Rod Beard's thoughts on the Detroit Pistons.
Take your time. Take your time.
That's the whole chat.
I know it's trying.
It's just. I won't even say I can't watch it anymore. I don't watch it anymore. It's just.
You're speaking for a lot of people right now, man.
I just don't. There's always something else that can grab my attention that is better. It's just not good basketball to watch as a whole. Because even when the starters are in, you know the bench has to come in at some point. And it's like, it's not even like a scary movie where you say, don't go down there, don't put in the bench because you have to. But it's just don't do that. It's a weird existence. I don't even have a good thought for you today. It's just, I tried. I turned it on and then
I think is a great thought. I think it's a great thought because when you bring up the bench, this is something that fans all over, and even the numbers, man, even the numbers. And I got a couple questions in the chat that I'm going to read a little bit later. But people are wondering why these all bench lineups, why certain players that are still playing, are they trying to make sure that they don't wind up with the franchises low in wins? A lot of fans are wondering what's going on, and a lot of it stems obviously with Monty Williams, and he had some comments to say about why guys like James Wiseman are still playing, and he says it's because of the work ethic that he sees in practice behind the scenes. But at some point in time, you know, where do the chances stop because of what's going on the actual game court? Right. And I trust me, when the numbers are out there about the starters plus minus versus the bench, when they start to go to the bench, it's just polarizing. You talk about polar opposites. Cade Cunningham, when we covered this thing last week, we did another segment. Cade Cunningham was like plus 18 over 5 games, but the team only had 1 win. I just don't understand what is going on in that regard. And it's tough, especially when we do ask the coach these questions and the answers that are coming back are like, hey, you know what? And I get it. They're not going to necessarily be clued into what's going on social media. But the numbers just say that these bench units, these all bench lineups, or even some of the lineups that they play, they got to go away. They got to go away. I don't think that it's fair to the team or to the supporters. What are you saying, brother?
Right, but you just have new guys that you're trying to work into the patchwork, and it is just not doing. It's just not there whatsoever, and it's frustrating for fans, and I know, and I've been through it on the other side as a writer covering it. It's frustrating on that side, but from a fan, if you are watching it and you have that investment in it, it's tough. And these teams are good. Miami's good. Orlando's good. Yeah. Some of these teams that they're losing to are good, but it's just you want to see some movement where you feel like, okay, these are steps that they're taking in the right direction. Of these so you look at the last 10 games, and they're 1-9 in their last 10. Is there another game in there they should have won? Clippers, Lakers, Suns, Pacers, Magic, Knicks, Bulls, Cavs, Magic, Heat. Is there a game they should have won that they didn't win in there?
Maybe the Knicks one, but that's probably about it.
Arguably the first Magic
one. The first Magic one. But yeah, I get your point.
I mean, against I'm saying the caliber of team that they're playing, they're not going to go in there and win most of those. Mm-hmm. Going a little bit further back, if you look at the Hornets, the Wizards, those are ones that you feel like, they'll win 1 or 2 of those. So even coming up, there just aren't a lot of games. They got the Hornets and the Raptors coming up, but they got Boston twice, Indiana. There just aren't a lot of easy games in here that they should be winning where you say, all right, they have to play extremely well. Their margin of error is so small in these games that they've got to be in it up to the last crunch time of the last 4 minutes. And that's just so hard to do with the bench unit and the way that they're rotating these guys.
Yeah, definitely. And they started this year saying that it was an assessment year, and then at the trade deadline, they definitely got rid of a lot of players and brought in some other players that they're going to take a look at. And one of the questions that a lot of fans are starting to have is, look, they want to see this team taking some major steps forward next year as it relates to what they bring onto this roster. We saw a guy last night in the Miami Heat, and Thomas Bryant, who I've been saying for about a year and a half to 2 years now, we need more players like that. Those guys with that punch, with that fire, with that they never turn it off. They play with a certain physicality that when you go back to the beginning of the year, Stewart and Duran started the year off saying, yeah, we want to play physical. We want to make sure that everybody comes to the lane. They understand that this is our paint to own. And they started off the season, the first 4 or 5 games, playing like that. And then one of them got injured, and it seemed like they never recovered that physicality at all. I don't know if that has something to do with the depth or the lack thereof as it relates to the physicality that they can bring, but a lot of people are wondering, how does this thing shake out next year? A lot of people are wondering, like, where the Pistons going to go from here. One of the questions I have is, what do they do even if they do wind up with the #1 draft pick? A lot of people are down on this draft. You've heard me for a long time state, you know what, I want them to trade that pick for a player that can come in and be an impact. And let me make sure I shout out who dropped that in the chat.
Like Brandon Ingram
as well. About the number. Dad with Tourette's, he talked about it. He talked about the #1 draft pick. Do you go and you draft somebody, or are you looking more to establish something more like the Orlando Magic did? They brought in kind of these younger vets like Gary Harris, like Wendell Carter, or do you go the route of even the Houston Rockets, who brought in more solidified vets like Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet? To me personally, it is time. No more experimenting. No more trying to see if this player, if you can kick the tires on that player. It is now time to go out there and bring in those guys. We talked about in the past how the Detroit Pistons have surrounded like Andre Drummond and Stanley Johnson with kind of these mid-tier free agent signings that then took this Detroit Pistons team, honestly, to the playoffs. And I'm ready for that. I'm ready for them to go out there and around these kind of low value contracts in your rookie guys or these rookie contract players, for them to go out there and do the same. It's time to stop with these experiments. It's time to stop with these all bench lineups. It's time to stop bringing in players that realistically don't bleed that red, white, and blue of Detroit Pistons basketball of old. It's time to step forward. The fans, I applaud you guys. The fact that there's still conversation, and people, they'll joke and they'll say, why are we talking about the Pistons? Why? Because everybody's still talking about the Pistons. Detroit sports fans aren't necessarily the most fickle or the most fair-weathered fans out there. They will have jokes because the Detroit Pistons deserve it, but they hurt when they see this team lose. They hurt when they see this team not playing up to their full capacity. They hurt when they don't see this team going out there and putting forth what Detroit period is supposed to represent. And we see the Lions, they're talking about going out there and intentionally going and getting people that identify with the city. It's time for the Detroit Pistons to do that. Let's sew this restore thing up. Or else, and I continue to say this, you would have failed Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson. What's the point of going and getting these guys if you don't think that they're the ones worth surrounding and building around right now? I just continue to just scratch my head at it. I just do.
I got a name for you.
Yes,
I got
sir.
a name for you.
Ooh.
Bronny James.
Oh,
what do you say, Bronny
James? Bronny
I mean,
James.
Call LeBron's bluff. If he said he wants to play with his kid, call his bluff and see if he's coming to Detroit. I mean, is there anybody in the draft that can change your fortunes any more than that? No.
Not really.
No.
And I'm
That's 2 for 1.
I'm 100% with you. Trade the pick. I don't care who you get. Trade the pick. Because if you're in Troy Weaver's spot, you have a ticking clock, theoretically, on how long you're here and how much more you can do with this roster. So you have to trade the pick.
Yeah. Get rid of the pick. I'm not for more young players being added to this squad. I know KG, you had some comments or some questions as well about this.
Yeah, so I mean, one bright spot off the bench has been Simone Fontecchio. The guy, he plays on the defensive end. He's a really good shooter, man. And nothing against Isaiah Stewart, but Monty Williams continues to start him. Don't you think Simone Fontecchio deserves a starting spot on this team? I mean, what do you have to lose, really? What are your thoughts on Simone Fontecchio possibly starting for this team going forward?
Does he project as a long-term starter for you? Can you see a world where he's starting at 3?
Probably
I don't
not.
think I can.
Yeah.
I don't think I can. I can see Asar starting at 3, and that's why you have to put him there and just let him take his lumps there if he needs to. And Fontecchio can be a sort of 6-man, 7th-man guy off the bench who provides some scoring for you, and he's excelling in that role. Put guys in the role that you project them to be and let them start excelling there and doing well there, and then that's more the roster construction that I'm looking for.
Yeah. Hey, Rod, so I was watching or getting ready to watch the Cavaliers-Celtics game last night, and they flashed this graphic on ESPN that showed the top 3 man lineups in the NBA in terms of their net rating. And 2 of the 3 were units that no one would have guessed would have been together 2 years ago, 24 months ago. It was Celtics, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and Derek White led the way at plus 16.4. You got the Nuggets, Jokic, Murray, and Michael Porter Jr., and then the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dame Lillard, and Brook Lopez. Do you think there's a threesome like that on this Detroit Pistons roster right now? Are there 3 guys on this team that maybe not to that level but can be that core to build around, where those 3 are on the court, good things are happening?
That's a good question.
I'm going to go back on what I just said, and I'll say Cade, Duran, and Fontecchio. I mean, there's no 3 right now who could be that, but unnamed small forward or unnamed shooting guard who's averaging 18 points a game could be something like that. But right now, Fontecchio is probably the closest thing. And when Ivy is playing at an optimal level, shooting well, then he could be that. But it's the same thing with Ivy. He's got to be able to hurt you off the dribble and be able to make you respect his 3-point shot, because teams are just going to lag back, and you can suit a defense to a guy who's quicker than you, but you can't do anything when he's quicker than you and he's shooting well. You can't lag back. Yeah. You can't play too tight. Yeah. You can't help too much on a guy like that. That's why I think that's the biggest step that Jaden Ivey can take, is and I think, what is he, 37, 38% from 3 this year? Something a little bit more respectable. But I just want to see that number go up a little bit more for him.
Yeah, that's what stood out to me, seeing that the Celtics are up there. Didn't include Jason Tatum or Robert Williams. It was Porzingis and Derek White, both guys that can stretch the floor, shoot the 3, and Derek White, that wing who can play defense.
It shows you kind of like the lack of talent, lack of like actual NBA experience talent that the Detroit Pistons have right now. They need more guys like that. I do believe in Cade Cunningham. I do believe in Jalen Duren. I do believe, like, even in Simone Fontecchio, even if he's not the long-term starting 3, I do believe that he's a piece that you want on this team going forward, even if it's off the bench. Same that I feel with Isaiah Stewart. I don't necessarily believe that he should be starting at the 4. I'm never going to say that he shouldn't be. If he goes out there and he snags that position, that starting spot, then so be it. But long-term, I'm really hoping this squad goes out there, man. Like I said earlier, I got to reiterate it. And like you said as well, they got to go out there and they got to get guys. No more young experiments. No more of this kind of kicking the tires on guys who probably didn't work out in other places. Go out there and even more to Monty Williams' benefit, go out there and get players that work within his scheme and within his style. The one word that I've kind of heard, or the phrase that I've heard return back to media availability and practices, is the 0.5-second offense. He said he absolutely loves what Simone Fontecchio brings in that regard, because he's one of those guys that can put the ball on the floor if he needs to. He can relocate along the 3-point line if he needs to, and he can obviously hit the 3. And he makes his decisions very, very quickly. We've seen him get into the paint. We've seen him play with physicality. And then on the defensive side of the ball as well, you're not necessarily losing anything. Right now, we have certain players before even they went through this trade deadline where we can say, hey, they got some good upside as it relates to their offense, but defensively they are struggling. Or hey, they got some good upside to their defense, but offensively they are struggling. They got to go out there and like you stated in these lineups that you brought up, it's not even like the superstar players. Go out there and just get like these impact contributors on both sides of the floor that can then give Cade Cunningham more room to operate in. I'm going to continue to say it. Cade Cunningham is a star. When you see what this guy is going out there and doing with low free throws, he's not getting the respect that other number 1 overall draft picks have gotten at all, and he's still going out there and he's putting in that work. I want to see the rest of these young guys that will move forward with them next year step up, step it up. It's just time. It's time. I feel like I've seen previous teams with a little less talent go out there and perform much better than this squad, man. And it's like, I'm going to continue to say this, it's not fair to the fans. They're continuing to stay checked in. They are. And that's been an amazing thing. That's been, to me, an amazing thing to go to the arena, and it starts slow in terms of people getting in there. Then you look around and you see 40-50% capacity, and I'm just sitting here like, why? Because it's Detroit, man. It's in our blood, it's in our DNA. But Rod, thank you for your time. Is there any last words from you gentlemen, or we good?
Thank you, Rod. You take us out.
I got some numbers to help you. I got some numbers to help you on Cade. Last 7 games, 23.9 points, 4.4 rebounds, 7.1 assists, 48% from 3.
Nice.
48% from 3. 49% from the field.
Not bad.
And one hammer jammer down on Duncan Robinson last night.
K. Oh. Woo.
Yeah.
K, man. Get that man some help.
You got it.
Definitely. If you want to ride every Wednesday, man, you bring the help to this show as well. The chat, they appreciate you every single week. They're like, yo, y'all got to find a way to get Rod Beard on more. Some people are calling you Rod Goatee in the chat as well. So I just had to make sure you do that. But thank you as always, Rod. We appreciate you and your time. As always, guys, check out the Detroit News, the great work that they do over there. It's a lot of good people as well as good coverage of your Detroit sports teams. We're appreciative of your contributions every single week, Rod. Thank you, man. Thank you,
Rod.
Thanks, Rod.
All right, gentlemen. Have a good Wednesday.
All right,
Thank
you
you,
too,
Rod.
brother. You too.
That
Man,
was awesome.
That was good news, man.
Awesome.
You know, especially that Cade Cunningham stats at the end. But
can I kick it?
We got some bad news as well, man.
We got good news coming up.
Yeah.
With a little OU Golden
segment.
Grizzlies insider giving us some perspective on their postseason run. But there is some bad news that you got to share first. At least one of our sponsors who can help deal with the bad news.
Yeah, definitely. And then we get some good news about probably our best basketball team in the state.
Oh,
right? I can't wait.
oh,
He's over there excited.
Shots
Let's
fired.
go, man. Look, man, the bad news is insurance rates are going up across the board in Michigan. Surprise. The good news is Swiss Insurance is here to help right now more than ever. It's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss will make sure that your carrier does not slip in extra fees or raise deductibles. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today or visit SwissINS.com. Again, call. That's from my brother Sam, man. Get better soon. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today or visit SwissINS.com and tell them that Woodward Sports sent you.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest. Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Hey, you guys, are you tired of wearing that same old Detroit sports merch?
Yes, I am, man.
Well, let me help you out right now. It's a new era in sports wearables with new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Look, go to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab. We've got everything to get you swagged out for next season. We got the Stoke Not Scared shirts. We got the Sun Guy shirts. And hey, we were cooking with Brad Holmes today, so why not get the home cooked meal T-shirt to complement that as well? Check out all the designs at woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab. Now, Kool-Aid, why don't you tell them where they can go get styled up after they get some new swag?
Yeah, bro, and look, they can get styled up for the NCAA tournament too, man. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams at all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked.
What up, though, Detroit? Welcome back. Oh, man, there is that back wall again.
Yeah, man.
Soroki's, man.
Making me
Crispy
hungry.
chicken and pizza. I am hungry. You know, man, the chat was absolutely on one about Soroki's yesterday.
Get the chicken.
Yeah, get your chicken.
Shout out to
Hey,
Pojo.
chat family, hit that like button to support, man. You guys are doing great today. The comments have been awesome. The engagement has been awesome. The laughs, everything. The points, the comments, keeping us on point. We appreciate it all, man. We do. And the phone lines are open 313-552-6322. But we got to talk about... I see Griffin up there. We got to talk about the state of Michigan's best basketball
Let's
team.
go. Let's go. So the Wake Up Woodward crew, we were at the Oakland University senior night game on Saturday where they clinched the regular season Horizon League title. We got to see 4 seniors be honored: Rocket Watts, Blake Lampman, Jack Golke, and Trey Townsend, the likely MVP of the Horizon League. But what we also got to do, we got introduced. Actually, he just came up to us and introduced himself to us. A great guy. This is Giovanni Moceri.
Yeah.
Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did.
Moceri. Giovanni. This is, I think of him as a Golden Grizzlies super fan, but he's even more professional than that. He's a senior at OU. He's a sports media director at an 88.3 WXOU and the host of his own show, the GOMO Show, which is live every Monday, 12 to 1. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah, the Joe Mo Show will do it. He'll say it.
The Jomo Show. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
nice.
So thanks so much for joining us, Giovanni.
Yeah.
We're hoping to pick your brain. Give us in the next 10, 15 minutes, we're hoping to learn a little bit more about this Golden Grizzlies basketball team. They kick off the tournament, Horizon League tournament tomorrow. Tell me where your head's at going into the tournament. Any direction you want to take this.
I want to win the Horizon League, and I think this team is good enough in the way it's built to win the Horizon League, which for a lower tier conference like the Horizon League, if you win it, that's the only way to get to the tournament.
Gotcha. So because they won the regular season title, but because they're what do they call it, a mid-major conference, it's not an automatic, or it's not even with the record. They're not destined for the tournament. They got to win the tournament.
You have to win the tournament. That's the only ticket you got. And excuse my voice, everybody. I was yelling at women's basketball. They played in the tournament yesterday at the OU Credit Union Arena, so forgive me with that.
So they started their tournament too?
They did. Unfortunately, they lost to Northern Kentucky in the opening round.
Bummer.
But getting back to the men's basketball side, yes, they did win the regular season, but it's going to take that ticket to get to the top. And being the 1 seed, pretty good, standing to do so. Yeah, I would say the matchup for the quarterfinals now, because they got the bye week to start the tournament. They now face Purdue Fort Wayne, and I will say it is a bit of a challenge, even though Purdue Fort Wayne is the 8th seed, because they kind of torched us earlier in the Horizon League season at the arena. They shot like 60% from the field, 60 from 3, and it's one of the scarier teams, but they are a bit streaky. So that's at least going for the quarterfinals. But Oakland has beaten everybody in the Horizon League, if not once, then twice. We haven't been swept by anyone this season. Nice. 15-5 overall. So I'm very confident in our ability to win the Horizon League and get on the national stage.
I love it. I would love to see that represent. I remember, I think it was Keith Benson, might have been, when he was there, they made the tournament that year, and I can't remember what run they went on, but whenever there's basketball teams in Michigan, whether it's the University of Michigan, Michigan State, it's exciting. Who are some of the players? I know Rocket Watts is the name that people might remember, but is he the star? Trey Townsend? Tell me about some of the players to look out for that have carried this team to this point.
I'll give you guys kind of an introduction to the Golden Grizzlies. So Rocket Watts, last year he played a pretty big role. However, this year he's kind of transitioned into more of a Swiss Army knife, coming off of the bench. And it's not that he stinks and like he has to be off the bench. It's a strategic way to get the most out of him, and especially with like one-on-one defense. So now zooming out to the rest of the team, it's ran, I would say, primarily by Trey Townsend, who did officially win MVP of the Horizon League.
Oh, congrats.
They announced that on Monday,
Nice.
Let's go. Trey Townsend, and not to throw you off here. His dad was an Oakland University legend. Campy was talking about him after the game.
His mother and father both played at Oakland University, and since Campy's been there this is his 40th season, his father, Skip Townsend, did play for Campy. His mother played on the women's basketball team as well, and we call him Mr. Oakland for a reason. He's been at the old arena ever since he was a baby. Campy's known him since he was yay big, and now he's in his senior year, the MVP of the Horizon League. So he's the main story. He's the main engine. That he's the spoon that stirs a drink, the straw that stirs a drink for the Golden Grizzlies. But all that attention inside, he draws a lot of the defense, and that opens up the massive three-point shooting of both Blake Lampman and Sixth Man of the Year Jack Golke. So they've been different paths getting to Oakland. Jack Golke, a transfer out of Hillsdale, he came just for this year and lit it up. He started off the season like fourth in the nation in three-point attempts. So he's been up there, but then Blake Lampman came along later in the season for his fifth year. He's a big-time senior walk-on, fifth year. He's been a huge story for this Golden Grizzlies team, starting off with just a blind suggestion from Travis Bader, a Oakland legend. Campy's never seen him play before when he was walking on, but that suggestion got him on the team, and he's been cooking, at least for this season. He's been on fire.
He's one who can pull up from anywhere on the court
Anywhere.
or with anyone in his face. He didn't need a lot of space to jack up a three-pointer, which he made.
Yep.
He made most of them.
And just real quick, just a little bit of kind of minor breaking news. We were talking about some toughness to the Pistons. They actually, per Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, they just signed center Taj Gibson. I don't know what he has left in the tank, bro. I have no idea. I don't think that this is going to make them better than Oakland University Golden Grizzlies basketball team, but that's an interesting
Taj
one.
Gibson,
I don't even know why
really?
Woj is tweeting about it. It is what it is.
Really?
He's 38.
That's not even
Taj who?
What?
But listen,
Why would he
a
tweet
Woj
that out? That's
firework
not even
right there.
information.
That's a Woj sparkler right there. That's not even a bomb.
I was about to ask Rod Beard about or make a point. The Pistons or teams need someone like a Udonis Haslem on their team. Maybe not a contributor, but that veteran to help the young guys be professional.
Just someone who's older than me.
Yes. Yes.
people
I don't
are going to
know.
want Taj Gibson over James Wiseman. I definitely know that much.
You might be
that's a
right
good point.
there.
Yeah.
You might be right.
But let's talk about a better basketball team.
I'd rather have Trey Townsend. How about that? I'd rather have Trey Townsend on the Pistons than Taj Gibson.
Oh, yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I wanted to ask you. Listen, Greg Campy, legendary coach. He took the time to say hi to us, talk to us, take a picture with us as well. Can you speak to the legend that is Greg Campy? You said about 40 years.
That's right.
At Oakland University, as one of probably the most recognizable figures in their whole entire sports department, man.
Absolutely. When you think of Oakland University, Greg Campy is usually one of the first faces that you think of when it comes to the Golden Grizzlies, and even back in the day when they were the D2 pioneers. So Campy has been there basically the entire time Oakland has had a basketball court. He's been there from the beginning and has been there ever since. He's had so many, I believe 13 or 14 Power 5 wins in his career. One of them coming this year against Xavier in a bye game on national TV. I had a lot of fun watching that one, keeping up with that. But he's been one of the elder statesmen, a cornerstone for not only the basketball program, but the university as a whole, as it's continued to grow. Because Oakland's a pretty small school, especially when it started out, and it's even more especially for the athletic department. But as Oakland has grown, Campy has been a huge piece in that. So definitely, Michigan Sports Hall of Famer, I think in 2015 or 15 or 16, Michigan Sports Hall of Famer, and he's everything you would want in a head coach. You might see him kind of pull his hair out on the sideline, but as soon as he's done, as soon as he gets to the media or to anybody else, he's as cool as a cucumber, and he's the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, the atmosphere at the arena out of Oakland University, it was so fun to be a part of. We spent a lot of time at the professional sport at LCA at Ford Field, but the field, it felt like how a college atmosphere should be. After the game, after they did their senior day ceremony, Campy invited everyone out on the floor to meet the players, meet the coaches. There were a lot of kids looking for autographs from Blake and from Trey Townsend and Rocket Watts. But it was just a really cool atmosphere, and I think that's why we want to start talking about Oakland University University, start talking about some of the other universities and high schools and other sports around the state of Michigan, because there's a whole fan base out there that has a lot of pride like you do in your Golden Grizzlies. So I want to ask you one last question about the basketball. Then you're not off the hook. I want to hear a little bit more about just the state of Oakland University athletics, which I know you have your finger on the pulse of. But what does this Golden Grizzlies basketball team need to do to win this Horizon League tournament?
It's going to have to come down, I would say, more specifically to make the shots that they have inside. Because, like I mentioned before, Trey Townsend and even his partner in crime, Chris Conway, on the inside, they draws the entire defense at sometimes. And with that, that'll come to some of the close-up shots, not quite falling through, but it's going to have to start with a little more fluidity in the offense to make sure that everything has purpose to it. If it's going inside and you want to kick it out to Goalkey or Landman, then it's got to happen cleanly in a planned and organized fashion. Not to say that they've been fooling around this whole time. Like I said, they won the Horizon League regular season, but
a tournament's a whole different beast.
It definitely is. The heat is turned up, so the precision is going to have to be there for the Golden Grizzlies. The can't be zone, their defense is going to have to continue to be sound, especially when it comes to a team like coming up Purdue Fort Wayne that can get hot in a hurry. You got to be able to extinguish that and use the home crowd that you got for at least this quarterfinals match, because then in the semifinals and championships they move on to Indiana for that one. And it's going to have to be everyone, all hands on deck. The Grizz gang, our student section, the crowd, everybody is just going to have to stand up to it and play the basketball that they've been playing all season, because they got to number one for a reason. And it's going to have to continue with that, to continue by making the teams pick between, do you cover Townsend inside or do you cover the three-point shooting from the two guards as I was mentioning. So it's going to have to come, all of it's got to have to come full circle and at 110%.
Yeah, and just to kind of talk about what you were saying, man, the environment there at the arena, that was awesome. Nice. It was so awesome. It took me back to my college basketball days, where you kind of got these packed gyms, a little bit smaller, but you can get so many people in there, and the environment and the atmosphere is just on 110%.
Got a band, dancers, band cheerleaders. It's epic.
TV don't do it
Giovanni
justice.
was over there going crazy. I saw him on ESPN Plus going crazy.
Cha-cha, Delcadia.
Yeah, I saw that, man. I saw that. I was like, I think we might be on ESPN too, just because of how crazy he's getting on screen. But one thing that I felt when we were there, and you kind of kicked it off for us as well, this kind of family atmosphere, not just amongst kind of the OU supporters, because you showed us a lot of hospitality. You walked right up to us. You said, hey, wake up Woodward Sports guys. I was just like, yo, this is already starting off pretty great, man. It was awesome. That was it right there. Right when you walked right up from the student section and said what up to us. But even the players, man, I get it. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of players who say, hey, we're brothers, we're this, we're that. But we're seeing a lot of different basketball teams right now in the state of Michigan where the cohesion is not just there. Can you speak to that kind of brotherhood, that family type atmosphere that they had? Because I felt it when I saw Greg Campy talking about his players. I felt it when I heard the other players talking about their teammates, man. It was something to really behold. It was honestly inspiring, especially for what we're trying to build here at Wake Up Woodward as well.
Yeah, definitely. It speaks to the entire university, because I would say the entire athletic department, all the teams, the coaches, the staffs, everybody is just the nicest in the world over there. And they've been nice to me and allowing me to kind of have access to the team, be able to cover them. They've been nothing but nice, and it's how the whole university is, I would say. And especially for this team, when you have such a concrete pillar in Greg Camp, and even the rest of the coaching staff have been there for many years, and to have that, and to have the fifth year Blake Lamb, fourth year Townsend, even third year Chris Conway, you have these elder statesmen there to be able to take in these new guys, all the new transfers and additions that they had to this team that added to the depth. To have that and to be that kind of have that brotherly connection, it's something that is just a reflection of the entire university, I would say. Even all the alumni that stay after the games, and when you guys were mentioning the senior day celebration, allowing everybody on the court, that's a yearly tradition. Wow. They do it every time. They don't leave until the last fan does. So that way everyone can get all their pictures and talk to everybody. It's all about the entirety of the university, and basketball is just a reason for people to get together.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But I know they have some other good teams at OU. Some other teams with a lot of support from not only students but fans of the Golden Grizzlies. I don't know how much of a baseball fan you know about their baseball team.
Oh yeah.
They play Michigan today.
Yes,
my former team. Actually, it's Michigan's home opener.
Okay.
And yes, Michigan has played 12 games. and they haven't played a home game yet. That's what happens when you're a northern baseball school.
Yeah.
You have to go south. You go to Florida. You go to South Carolina, Texas, California.
Something tells me that they don't mind that, though.
No, it is. It is what it is.
I talked to some.
snow.
I talked to some of the players. They're like, "Oh, I gotta go to Texas now." Like,
Oh, shoot.
I just got back from California.
Darn. Oh, darn.
It's a tough schedule, but yeah.
2 out of the 4 years I was at Michigan, we had to shovel snow off the field for our first home game. But whether it's baseball or any other sports, tell me about what's going on at OU in sports. Are there any teams that we should look out for this spring?
Yeah, I definitely want to mention Oakland baseball because I believe we got the 2-game win streak on you so far. Ever since head coach Jordan Banfield came to the Golden Grizzlies, we enjoy playing in Ann Arbor.
Yeah,
I'll just say that.
You always play us tough. No, it's we usually play midweek games.
Yeah.
And Oakland Western, every team plays Michigan tough. So Michigan it hasn't dominated in a long time. It's fun series.
Yeah. but
Series I.
getting to a little bit more into the baseball, just to kind of introduce us to people who aren't aware about Oakland baseball. So we've had Jordan Banfield be our head coach for now. I think this is 3rd or 4th season, and we've been to the Horizon League championship game the past 2 years. Unfortunately, we got knocked off by Wright State because they're just a crazy baseball team. But we've been to the conference,
Jeff Mercer.
the conference championship 2 years in a row. Oakland softball has done so the past 3 years.
Nice.
They won it in 2021, and they've been up there in the Horizon League ever since. So both the diamond sports for the Golden Grizzlies are really up there, definitely. Swim and dive. They a couple weeks ago they competed in the Horizon League tournament, or excuse me, the Horizon League championship meets.
Nice.
And they've won. The men's team won their 46th conference championship in a row, and the women, I believe, won their 27th around there. So Oakland Swim and Dive, they kick some serious ass.
They had a meet on Saturday. It was going on at the same time. I think it was one of the two teams. There were a lot of fans going into the pool or the stands around the pool, and a lot going into the basketball arena.
Yeah, so there's always a lot going on. You know, like I was mentioning, baseball, softball, swim and dive, basketball, like it's all going pretty well so far for the Golden Grizzlies. It's given us at WXOU at Golden Grizzlies got a lot of good stuff to cover.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, want to invite you to hang around. We got a segment, one of the fan favorites coming up. What's trending with JB Smooth there in the TD booth. But before we go, could you plug your socials, plug anywhere people can find you or anything you want to share on your way out, Giovanni Moceri?
Well, I appreciate that. Like we mentioned before, I'm a host of the Joe Mo Show on WXOU. I stream it also on YouTube at the GIOMO Show. That's every Mondays from 12 to 1, where I cover all of Oakland sports. So if you want more detail week to week about Oakland sports, I'm your guy. So you can find me there. Twitter, it's at GIO Moceri WXOU. And I'm on Instagram as well. The Joe Mo Show's got its own Instagram. Find us on WXOU.org, or best college radio station ever.
Let's go.
Neil Roll's an alumni at WXOU, so
Shout
get a
out
little
Neil.
bit of view of the roots there.
You've had a chance to work with Neil or get to know him, or a lot of respect for Mr. Rule.
Yeah, Mr. President there. He's been
Yes,
he's been nothing but nice to us at WXOU. He's told me that the game has given him so much, so it's only right for him to give back to the game. And I happened to be the game at the time, so he's been nothing but nice to us, and even the rest of my staff for the sports department. He's the best, man.
Consummate professional.
Awesome. Pardon?
No, I said consummate professional.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. We're a fan of Neil's. We're lucky to work with him every day, so I can't imagine what that must be like. Well, Giovanni, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Hang out for What's Trending with JB. We might need to get your reactions to whatever JB's going to throw in front of our eyes. It can get kind of rowdy, so be careful.
It's pretty epic, man.
But Kool-Aid,
sir.
could you actually, before you go, hit that like button for Giovanni? You got your name plate up, so your Twitter's up on the screen. Kool-Aid, tell us about Premier Pet. If you have a Golden Grizzly you need to feed,
Golden Grizzlies,
Where do you get that
Detroit
food?
Lions. You know what? We get them the best, man.
The best.
And you know where we get them the best from? Premier Pet Supplies, hands down Michigan's best pet store. Same prices and all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers, with one major difference: it's family and locally owned for over 30 plus years. Over 60 brands of food and nutrition experts to help you. Same day, local curbside and home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best at www.premierpetsupply.com.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports has all your Detroit sports coverage all day long. And you know what it is, man. The Woo Crew in the morning. Wake up Woodward every day, 8 to 10. But after that, you got to check out Big D Energy, Neil Rule, and Red Wings legend Darren McCarty, 11 to 1. Then you have Armani and Edwards with Maz every day, 2 to 4. Great show. And then you finish your night off with the heavies. Easy and Spin Mode gonna bring the heat every time, 5 to 7 every day. So make sure you're checking out Woodward Sports. It's Detroit's #1 sports network all day long, on air and social media.
And since 1996, that is when Taj Gibson turned 21 years old, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. You just got to visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. And they host us at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi every other Monday. It's part of what makes Feldman Chevrolet Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
What up, dog, Detroit? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. Thank you guys for starting your morning and your day off with the crew, man. We couldn't be more happy about it, especially about your support, guys. It means the world to us, man. Go on ahead, smash that like button if you haven't. If you have, encourage somebody else to do so. We've had some great guests on today. Smash the like button for Detroit News Sports Editor-in-Chief, Mr. Rod Beard. And we got Giovanni Moceri in the building.
That's right. That name.
University, just super fan. It's not just the men's basketball team. It's you have a pulse on all of the sports.
I'm there, baby. If I'm not working to cover the radio for it, then I'm there dressed like this, like a lunatic going off.
I saw that. You had the headband, the glasses, the signs, the big old
the big head.
Campy head.
Campy head, yeah.
It was dope, man.
That's what like part of what we're trying to bridge. We're in this a Venn diagram. We're in the middle where it's new media, new media, fandom. We're trying to bridge the both. I think you can be a fan and be in media now. Part of what I want to experience when I'm watching people is a little bit of bias towards their home team, their fandom. I like it. That's why you're doing that in what you do. You're a super fan, but you're also a professional, host your radio show, host your own The Joe Mo Show. So I love it. Everyone, if you're watching, check out earlier in the show, we were cooking with Brad Holmes, went through a grocery list of free agent ingredients that he wants. We were talking Emmanuel Moseley in the second segment of this show. We had Rod Beard, Detroit News Sports Editor-in-Chief, the legend, the Detroit sports media legend, on from 8:45 to 9:20. And now we have time for the man, the myth, the legend. I'm going to let you kick this off. Kool-Aid.
It's time for the most electric segment in sports entertainment. If you smell what JB Smooth is cooking.
J Bizzle.
With what's trending. Let's get it.
JB.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What up, though?
Hey, you know what? I'm actually really glad I saved this for today because we got Giovanni here in the chair with us. That earlier this week, someone from OU was hanging out at McDonald's, helping out customers.
That's real.
Can't be.
That's a real picture.
Great. Let's go.
T. Foss in the building.
T. Foss in the building.
T. Foss is also in the building
what up,
as well, too. But Mr. Greg Campbell was hanging out at McDonald's, serving up, helping out in the drive-through line. I thought that was pretty cool.
Does he need a raise from Oakland, or is he just helping out the community, passing out some ice cream cones, some burgers?
Little bit of helping out the community. I'm sure maybe there was a bet early in the season. It said, listen, if we win, I'll work at McDonald's. I think they're calling his bluff.
Love seeing that.
And you know what? I know McDonald's is also going to be be celebrating 313 Day as well, man.
Come on, March 13th?
Yeah, they're going to be celebrating it with Verner's, Boston Coolers, and free T-shirts.
Hell yeah.
All right.
That's
Let's
not
go.
bad.
Mad at that.
Let's go.
I'm not
I like
mad.
that, JB.
I'm not mad at that at all. But all right, this next video I got to show you guys that. So you guys know the Clippers are building their new arena. It's worth over $2 billion.
In Inglewood.
Yeah, in Inglewood. Thank you, KG. Well, someone had the nerve to break in to their new arena and cause a little damage. As two teens broke in and just kind of ran all over the building.
What are you doing?
Right.
Come on,
I don't
man.
even know how they got in. Somewhere on top of the roof, but yeah, they went in.
You got to have security guarding this place.
And just kind of hung out for a little bit and went over to the Clippers' little practice facility that they have inside and just kind of took some shots. But yeah, they basically just went in here, just kind of posted to their social
come
media,
on.
just
Yeah, bro.
threw some stuff around.
What are you doing?
Jumping. Good.
Oh, at least it's wet.
Yeah,
Show some
at least-
respect
at
for all
least
the
jumper
toilets that
was
they build
nice.
in there, man.
Computer blue.
Is he in his pajamas?
Yes,
Darlene
he's in his
Pinkett.
pajamas. With Lakers
Lakers
logos on
pajamas?
it.
This is just the start of something bad usually happens when you see stuff like this. Like something falls over
Wait,
or
You're gonna break
no,
something.
What are you doing? Don't disrespect the court like that. And you put this on video?
That's crazy.
You see, that's
Man, bro,
idiotic.
it's clout generation.
I'm
This
just
is
saying, if
crazy.
you're
See, I've seen plenty of FBI and Law and Order SVU where he's gonna fall right through those stairs,
Right.
all the way to the ground. And then they're gonna Olivia Benson and Elliot Stabler are gonna find out what happened before that.
If your
Bro.
stadium is worth $2 billion, why don't you have better security in stopping this? Like,
They need to
come
call
on.
Guardian.
They
And those,
definitely,
have they gotten arrested yet?
I don't believe they've gotten arrested yet,
Oh,
but yes,
they're
they
going
do
to.
definitely need to call Guardian Alarm because that's just
They
terrible.
might get sued too. If
Yeah.
I'm the
Yeah,
arena
everybody
owner,
in
I'm suing them.
everybody in the chat, man. Eric Allen and dumb enough to record it too. That's
Yeah.
what Nick in the chats. Don't record yourselves, Dante. What are we doing anymore, man?
Well,
Those
what's
are
the
all
end
my
game?
sentiments as well. What is the end game?
Like, are you
I have
like
no
you're
idea.
going to get caught? You recorded it. Why? Like, what's the end game here?
Is it really about likes
clout,
and
man.
views
It's
now?
about likes. That's all it is.
man. COE.
The wrong type of likes.
I'm not following. Like I'm not following them after that. Like if we're talking algorithm, you got to get that follow.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild,
Kids
man.
these days, you know. Kids. This is where the mustache works.
Is there a place that you guys would break into?
Ooh.
No.
Ooh. I'm going to think about that for mailbag if we don't get mailbag questions. Because I know JB's got some more stuff cooked up. That's a good question. Where would you break into?
That is a very good question. But you're all right. I do have some more stuff for you guys. So I got to
Let's
know,
go.
is this legal?
Is it more basketball? Oh, I love it. JB, what?
What the?
No.
Is this legal?
Oh, I see what he
Technically it
did.
is.
Yeah, I
Wait,
see what he
technically
did.
it is.
He did the Andre Drummond. 3, 4. He got
Five.
5
Up to-
rebounds.
who?
6 rebounds.
This is legal?
He got 6 rebounds and he got a bucket.
Get a bucket, yeah.
No.
If you guarding him, why is you letting him do that? Like, you just let him toss the ball up like 6 times and go to the hoop, man.
Yeah, it's a
That's
defender's
terrible
fault.
defense. That's terrible defense.
I'd be confused. Is that Larry Hughes' kid, or is that Larry Hughes' post basketball career? Remember him
man,
on the
remember
Cavaliers?
Cavaliers and Washington Wizards.
He tried to get the triple double by throwing it off his own backboard.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my gosh,
Bro,
It
Larry
feels
Hughes was
like
a bucket though.
technically, I mean, isn't that how Andre Drummond was getting them 2020s here?
No.
People say he was tipped. I like Andre Drummond, but we saw him do that here. I don't know if you can do that far up the court. I don't know.
that's crazy.
That's pretty wild.
It's Andre Drummond. That's what he does when he's holding off the Disney girls. He's just stiff arming them, holding the ball. You can't get this.
Right.
I hope that was okay to say.
You did not.
I mean, he did it anyway.
What? You know, they're little. He's tall.
He should have held off the rap career.
Yeah,
Yes,
that too.
definitely.
That
Yeah.
too.
Yes, definitely. And lastly, I'll leave you guys on this video. I know we complain about the dunk contest so much, but did you see this?
Zion.
Nope.
Oh.
Oh, what?
Wait, what?
What?
Let's play it again in slow mo.
Oh,
What?
That's crazy.
That's pretty dope.
See, why can't NBA players do this?
That's
the dunk
pretty dope.
contest is so weak now. Like nobody.
Bro.
does
That is
anything
pretty
creative.
dope.
So he threw it behind his back, off the backboard, and caught it with his left hand. And what?
To catch
dunked
it at
it,
that
man.
angle is nuts.
That
bro.
is
That's
crazy.
pretty dope, man.
How do you catch that at that angle?
That's pretty dope.
That boy has some seasoning.
wow.
on him.
He does.
I
I didn't even realize he was white. That's crazy.
Right?
That
Right? I would do anything for hops like that. I would be in. If I could jump like that, I would be in the MLB right now.
I could do it.
Our Vanilla Vic over here, man. Right?
That's right. That's right. Woof woof.
Right. Saving the homers.
Oh,
That was pretty. That was
But
pretty
that's
wild.
it for what's trending. Back to you guys.
Dang.
You know what?
That was epic.
JB always says, "Oh, that's it." Like, no, bro, that was fire. That's what that was, man. What's trending every single day is absolute fire, man.
It's epic, JB. Great job. Great job. And I see some I see some answers coming in from the "Where would you break into?" question that we gotta hit when we come back. We're gonna take a real quick break. Gotta talk about our sponsors one last time, but we're gonna come back with mailbag. Get your questions in the chat. If you're hungry, I gotta tell you about some food you gotta go find.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna tell you about. Soroki's.
You know what? I'd break in there.
You break into Soroki's?
Start cooking pizza.
It honestly sounds so good right now. What would be better than crispy chicken and pizza while watching the Oakland Grizzlies play tomorrow night? Let me tell you about Soroki's crispy chicken and pizza. Their food is amazing, and their locations are popping up all over Metro Detroit. It's a perfect takeout option featuring hand-breaded fried chicken, New York pizza, fresh salad, sides, and more. You got to check out their full menu and find the closest Soroki's near you at Sorokis.com. That's SAROKIS.com. Soroki's in Woodward Sports. That's crispy.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
What up, though, Detroit? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys' support as always, man. Chat family, you guys have been on one today. And we got a little bit more to feature about this chat as well. We got mailbag. We want to read the best comments as well. Where would you guys break in? Have you seen some good ones?
This is an inspiration to what JB just played and what's trending with JB Smoove. There were a couple kids who broke into the new Clippers arena, the $2 billion arena that they're building. Kool-Aid brought up the question, if there was some place you could break into without knowing that there's no disciplinary action coming after it, where would you break into?
I like that one.
Freddie felt Sydney Sweeney's dressing room.
Oh,
All right, Doc.
She's hot right now. I mean, on fire right now. Oh, just pops right out at you. Yeah. Jonathan Lord says the Pro Bath Shop for sure. James says Chuck E. Cheese's. That's a good one.
Chuck E. Cheese's.
You could have a ball, like, also underrated pizza. By the way, Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
You know what? I actually agree with that.
Seriously.
I agree with that.
No, are you kidding me?
I agree with that.
It's alright.
The Legend T. Foss is like, nah, it's, look, bro, I actually like the Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
Thank you.
I remember all the ridges underneath it. They got like the dots on the tray. Mm-hmm. It's all in the crust. I can't stand it. Ugh.
Soaks up the grease, soaks up the flavor. What else we got in here?
You see Stephen David?
No, what do you say? Am I allowed to say it if I come up? I break into the Brazzers vault.
Nothing wrong with that.
Have mercy.
I think you could do that for $29.99 a month. I think you got to break into that.
Keep them coming in. Keep them coming in. But this one I'm going to go Eduardo O'Neill. Directed at our fighters, our UFC, MMA, WWE, everything fighting. I'm coming at you guys. Eduardo O'Neill says mailbag. What would be more surprising? Cody Rhodes not finishing his story or Brad Holmes signing or drafting a bigger name? I don't know the context around it. There's something funny in there.
That's tough, man. I gotta say Brad Holmes, man, because Cody, he gotta finish it now. If he don't finish the story now, then
it finishes. Is he
okay?
Is like there an actual story or his career story?
So his dad is the legendary Dusty Rhodes. He used to wrestle back in the 70s.
Dusty
and 80s.
Rhodes,
yes,
related to Rocky.
Yes, or no, but his dad was
Or
a
Lana.
legendary wrestler for WWE, but he never won the world championship. So Cody Rhodes coming along, he never won the world championship either. His father passes away, and he wants to win the world title for his family legacy, thus finishing the story. But he had a shot at last year's WrestleMania. It didn't happen. A lot of people thought it was going to happen then, and it didn't. So he has a rematch this year for this year's WrestleMania. It's got to happen. If not, what the hell are you doing, man? But I would be more surprised if Brad Holmes makes a big free agent splash. Like
it's the WWE. I honestly, I want it to happen. Don't get me wrong,
It's
but
gonna happen, bro.
it's probably not going to happen. That's
They know
probably
what
the
it-
biggest surprise to me if Cody doesn't get to finish the story at Mania. But
yeah,
like I said,
They
it's
know
the
where the
WWE.
money is. They ain't gonna mess that up.
They're gonna.
Giovanni, you know some wrestling. Do you have an opinion on this?
A little bit of wrestling, no, but I do know a place I would break into if we're going to keep continuing with that one.
Yes,
You know
let's go there because Eduardo O'Neill has a good one. Where would you break into?
I'd probably break into Neil's place and take a picture with the second furnace.
He's coming with the fire.
Yeah, take a selfie with it.
Steve Old Baby also said he would break into the WWE headquarters, and he puts this qualification on it of it. Right, JB? JB? With the question mark, right? Would you wrestling guys do
break
this?
in there?
Huh?
I would definitely break in there.
Y'all tripping, man. This is so easy. I'm breaking into the vault at Chase Bank. Like, this is just, like, what are we doing here? I'm going to get some money.
Bags on the
Get some
mind.
money. Hey, Stephen Davis said, not KG knowing the price. LOL.
That was a guesstimate. That was a guesstimate.
$29.99 for the Brazzers vault.
It was a
29
guesstimate.
2 for 50. How about this one? This actually might be my favorite one.
I'm a free
and I
guy.
didn't see any of those. Those were great. Eduardo O'Neill says the Lions war room, like 10 minutes before the NFL draft.
That's a
10 minutes
good
before.
one.
I
Yeah,
wanna
what's
be
written on
in
the
there while
sticky
it's
notes?
happening.
That's a really good one, man.
That. If I had unlimited amount of money, I would pay a lot amount of money. A little bit.
What?
I would pay a lot of money to get in that war room and be a fly on the wall.
Yo, that's a good one. That is definitely
Any
a
other
good
last
one.
questions before we take it out? It's 10 o'clock. This was a fun show. Do you guys see any last mailbag questions? JCJ, you heard that reference. I see you.
You know what?
I see you.
Detroit Dabber said, and I'm gonna take inspiration from this. He said he's breaking into the NFL Hall of Fame to put up the bust of Tom Kennedy. And you know what? I'm breaking into LCA and I'm putting up a statue of our guy Isaiah freaking Thomas.
Yes.
Man, it's
Preach.
long overdue.
Preach.
Long overdue. Isaiah Thomas deserves a statue. Hey, we got Mr. Terry Foster in the building as well, so we had to make sure we get that reference out there. Covered the Detroit Pistons bad boys. He said, "Oh." I know. That's why I have to break in there and make it happen. They'll take my credentials. Like, get out of here, Kool-Aid.
Well, this was it. What a blast. Kool-Aid, take us out. This was fun.
Definitely. Yo, this has been awesome, and it's cool to be able to see our guy Stick in the building as well.
Shout
the
out.
legend Terry Foster in the building, man. This is awesome. We had Giovanni Moceri from Oakland University, sports director at 88.3. We've had a great guest today in Rod Beard, the sports editor-in-chief from the Detroit News. Sam Reynolds, a.k.a. Flannel Sam, our brother. Get better soon. We definitely missed you today. Get better. We can't wait to see you back on the show. And we got to shout out our elite booth here, man.
Elite.
Detroit's #1 draft pick, Mr. KG in the sound booth today, holding it down. Great comments as well. And thank you for knowing the price on that Brazzers vault, man.
I'm a free guy. I'm a free guy. Let's just leave it at that.
And we got Woodward Sports MVP over here, Mr. JB Smooth in the TD booth. Hey. TD.
2 sets of TD.
Technical directors.
Yeah. Hey, look, we got the Lions and the Tigers credential beat writer and beat reporter, Mr. Matthew Broder over here. And it's your boy Brandon Dan Detroit Kool-Aid. Pistons credential beat writer and reporter.
That you are.
Thank you guys for supporting the show. It's been a great one. It's been a packed one. Chat family on your way out. If you haven't, smash that like button. We can't wait to see you guys again in the morning. Hey, we're doing a chest pass today.
Yeah,
You gonna catch it with a glove? Hey, that is what it is, man. It is. Wake up, Woodward. What up, though, people? Have a great rest of your day and check in with Big D Energy from 11 to 1.
We out.
Let's go.